Welcome back, farmers. Today we're going to be taking care of the grow tent, and we're also going to be doing a garden tour. I might have a special guest for that, so we'll see. But we have a lot of work to do, and I'll take you along with me while I get that work done, so I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, you ready to go see the garden?
Yeah. Jim, I'll grab my hat.
Alright.
Thank you. Here, bud. Well, horseradish coming up tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we gotta get rid of that horseradish.
Huh?
We gotta get rid of the horseradish.
No way.
Alright, you ready to see what we got?
Yeah.
Alright, come on over here. Okay, so back to the garden. There's been quite a few weeds that have popped up. I'm trying to take care of that right now. But other than that, I want to go through and give you a little garden tour of how it's doing so far. We can stay updated on the stuff that I've planted in previous videos and see how it's doing. I don't think I'm going to add anything new, but I just wanted to show everybody what everything's looking like because you might be curious as to how my potatoes are doing or the sweet potatoes. But regardless, we're going to get into that right now and we'll be able to see how the garden is going halfway through June. So here we have the sweet potatoes. I planted these in 7-gallon grow bags last episode. I don't remember quite how big they were when I put them in, but they seem to be doing well, especially since some of the temperatures got below that 55-degree range. Sometimes they don't do very well when it gets that cold, but as you can tell, they seem to be doing fine. Same thing with this little bunch, and this one has a bad leaf on it. I don't know what I need to do to fix that, so I'm going to do a little bit more research. But overall, all the sweet potatoes seem to be doing pretty well. Also in the last video, I thought that all the peppers had died, but I guess they're making a little bit better of a comeback than I ever could have imagined. So we have some really small KS white tie. The fact that they're still alive is kind of insane. We have some orange jalapenos here. They've actually come back the best, I would say, out of all the ones that I thought were potentially dead. So the dream catcher here with the purple leaves, it's come back and it's doing really well. Same thing. Here's the propagated habanada plant. It's grown a few leaves and it's doing well. And the banana peppers have also made a comeback, and I'd say they're doing almost as good as the orange jalapeno. What I'm most excited about is, in the last video, I talked about propagating this pepper plant. And as you can tell, this sweet bonnet pepper cutting is just taking off. Look at all the new leaves on top. I'm not sure what it was looking like in the last episode. I'll throw in a clip to compare, but I'm just really impressed with how this is doing. This is my first ever propagation experiment, and it couldn't have been working out any better. Also, in the last episode, we planted some long neck squash right here. They're doing well. They're putting off flowers on a few of them, like right here and right here. I don't know what that's all about. I think I should probably pick those off because they are not ready to put off fruit based on the size. We have another one right here. That flower was open just a little bit ago, but it's closed now. But I think I'm going to be picking those off because I don't think these plants are ready to be putting off fruit or flowers quite yet. We also have the golden bell pepper that I put in the ground last episode. I'm not sure if it's gotten too much bigger, but it seems to be thriving in its new place, which is the ground instead of that tiny little pot that it was in. Also, last episode, I put in a bunch of grape/cherry tomatoes, and they're all doing really well. I would say this one right here is doing the best. It's trying to put off flowers right there, and you know, I don't think it's quite to that size where it should be putting off flowers. I'm probably going to pick those off so that way more energy goes towards the stem and the leaves, so that way we can get a big healthy plant before it starts putting off flowers. You can see here's another one. Here's an elephant jalapeno, which was struggling, but it's coming back better than ever. And we still have another orange jalapeno, barely struggling, but it's doing okay as well. We also have some cucumber plants. Right here's a cucumber plant. Here's another one, and here's the third one. Out of the three, I would say this one is doing the best, and this one right here is doing the worst, but still not too bad. The best plant in the garden so far, I would say, other than something I'm about to show you, is the acorn squash. The acorn squash has a bunch of big leaves on it, and I think that if it keeps getting proper care, we're going to see some really nice acorn squash by the end of the summer. We also have our lemon drop watermelon that's doing well, and the red meat watermelons, they're doing okay. This one's struggling just a little bit, but I still think that overall they are going to be just fine, and we're going to see some watermelons by the end of the summer. Here's probably my favorite thing in the garden right now, and that would be the sugar snap peas. The sugar snap peas in the last episode were putting off a bunch of flowers, and as you can tell, they're still putting off a bunch of flowers, but if you zoom in just a little bit, we have some sugar snap peas. I'm going to take a few of these sugar snap peas off and let the family try them out, because these are really good and I cannot wait to try them. The other one over here is doing alright as well. It hasn't quite put off any peas yet, but it's working on it, and I think between the two plants we're going to get plenty of peas for the gallon or the 7-gallon container that it's in. Go ahead and pick one of these peas to try out.
Good.
Alright, we're going to try the snap peas.
They're good.
Sweet.
Crunchy.
Alright, I'll try it too.
Yeah, it's got a good taste.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, that's really good. If we also come over here and look at the hydroponic pepper plants that I'm growing, here is the shishito, and it's actually trying to put off flowers again, which we know that this plant is not big enough, and we're going to be taking those flowers off because we do not want this thing to be putting off peppers quite yet. We also have our chili pepper plant right here, and it is also putting off flowers, which we're going to take care of here in a minute. And right here we have the potato plant. It's really hard to take video of these pepper or potatoes, I guess, because they grow straight up and the camera angle makes it look like they're really small, but that thing is about, I don't know, 3-4 inches tall, and there's another little one right over here. So we actually have a patch of raspberries, and I want to go take you guys to show those because those are almost ready to be picked, and we'll make a raspberry pie or maybe some jams out of those here soon. Okay, so right over here we have a giant raspberry patch. This whole thing is just completely filled with raspberry plants that we've let grow over the last few years, and the amount of raspberries we get is just kind of insane. So I'll just go through and show you, I guess, how big it is, and some of the raspberries are starting to grow. So within the next few weeks we might have some raspberries to pick, so that's really exciting. I'm actually really far back right now, and as you can tell, this thing is just massive. Here I can zoom in on a few of these plants already, and as you can see, we have a few raspberries on the plants already, and if you just look around, they're all over the place. Some right there, and it's like this all the way around. I mean, you look over here and there's tons of them. A little bunch right here, right there, all over the place. And it's like this all the way around the patch. all the way back into there. So you put on a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and you just, when they're ready to go, you go to town and you just pick as many raspberries as you can. These are getting really close right here, actually. Look how big those are. So I just figured I'd let you guys know that that might be in the works of growing an even bigger patch. I mean, there's so many already, but you can never have too many raspberries. There's so many things you can do with them, and you can preserve them really well too. And I'm just really excited for those to grow here in the next couple weeks. So now let's talk about the onion patch. If you can't tell, here's the side of the garden with all the tomatoes on it, and the squash and the cucumbers, and the peas are in grow bags on the ground right here, but they're on that left side of the garden. On the right side of the garden here, we have all of our onions, and some of the onions are doing really well. As you can see, the tops on these, I mean, I don't know how big the bulbs are underground, but we'll figure that out here in a long while when they're ready to go. I have made an executive decision to basically just let this side of the garden do what it wants. You see some horseradish over here. My grandpa loved his horseradish, but we have a big patch of it over here, which is not in the garden, and it can do whatever it wants over there. But that stuff is invasive, and I've been trying to get rid of it for a long time, but it keeps popping up. So I've decided that this side of the garden is just gonna have onions in it, and it's gonna do whatever it wants. Once I pick the onions and it is time for fall to roll around, which is about the time frame I'm giving these onions before they're gonna need harvested, I'm gonna come till this up and put a big layer of mulch down, or straw, one or the other, because when the onions are done, I want to put down carrots and radishes and maybe some kohlrabi, some real root vegetables into the ground that really need to not have these weeds around them. So that's my plan for that. I've just decided to give up. Sometimes you got to do that because these weeds have just gotten out of hand. I even tried putting mulch down on this row, and it's just not going well. So that's where we're at with this side of the garden. Hopefully I get some onions by the end of the year. If not, we'll be able to enjoy the tops like I did a couple videos ago. Can't remember how long ago that was, but we ate those. Yeah, so that's what's going on with this side of the garden. This side of the garden, I'm still going to try and keep weeds out. I don't have a very good topsoil layer down, I guess, right now, but I think I'll be able to weed around whatever's growing and still get a decent crop for the year. So I almost forgot, one of my favorite things about growing plants hydroponically is the root updates, and some of these roots are just really taking over this bucket down here, so I'll try and get that on video. It's really hard without a cameraman, so I'll see if I can get the roots right now. If not, I'm probably going to cut this. So here we go. Let's take a look at those. Alright, so there are the roots. I can do a little comparison video from what they were looking like last video, but as you can tell, they're nice and white, and that means that they are not being suffocated, and they keep growing down further too. So this plant is nice and healthy. So I have that potato plant in the grow bag, but I also have some potatoes planted in the raised bed. If you watch my previous videos, you know that. And they were just a couple inches tall the last time that I checked, but it's been a little bit over a week, I think a week and a half, and they've went to town. These things have really gotten big. If you take a look here, these things were about the size of my hand, and now, I mean, they're huge. They've also been putting off flowers already. I don't know if I need to pick these or not. I'm not a potato specialist, so I am going to do some more research to see if I need to get rid of these flowers to prevent it from flowering for whatever reason. I know potatoes are a root vegetable, but the flowers already do concern me. So that's a nice little that's a nice little update for the potato bed. We're gonna now go into the grow tent and see what's going on in there. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and warn you. The grow tent is not looking good. There's one plant in there that's thriving, and everything else in there is gonna have to be taken out because it is not doing good. So we're gonna go take a look at that, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna be doing in there. If you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I'm giving away the KS White Thai seeds, which there's a bunch ready. So if you've been waiting patiently for those, now is the time. I'm gonna start sending those out. So in the next week or two, hopefully everybody can start getting their KS White Thai seeds. Okay, as you can tell, the grow tent is not looking good. Alright, we have the mystery pepper, which I have finally identified. It is a habanada. I really must have planted 2 habanada plants in here. This whole time I really did think that that was a Sugar Rush peach, but apparently it was not. We also have a dead we also have a dead tray of flowers right here, and the sweet bonnet plant still has a few leaves on it. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, the KS White Thai seeds are about ready. I know I keep saying that, but this one is for real. Look at how many peppers are on here. I'm going to get a ton of seeds, and I'm going to be able to give them out to you guys. So stay tuned for that. I'll send something out on Instagram and TikTok, so that way everybody can get their seeds here in the next couple weeks. Alright, so there's what the grow tent's looking like. I'm going to go through and make some changes, and I will let you know what I did here in a minute, what changes I made, and what my plans are with the grow tent from here on out. So I will see you after that. Okay, so it's been a few hours, and I completely redid the grow tent, so I'll show you what that looks like right now. In the back 3 here, we have banana peppers. We have a KS pumpkin starburst, which I want to grow that to full capacity and be able to give those seeds away as well. We also have a bunch of herbs right here: oregano, parsley, cilantro, and basil. And none of them have sprouted yet. Everything's looking a little bit bare, but that's okay, because within a few weeks, a few months, this grow tent will be full of different types of vegetables and herbs. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's where I'm going to end this video. I hope your plants are growing as well as mine, and that'll be it for this video.